Hey, what's up, guys? So, like YouTube is, the more you post, the more interaction you get. The more interaction you get, the more idea you get, and so the wheel keeps turning. And so what happens is that I have a lot of comments. I have some comments from regular people who interacts with me on YouTube. So for my latest video, and Funtraden gave me a list, a really good topic to inspire me to do videos. And one of them struck me as something I think I never really discussed before. The thing is that I don't, I never really was the teacher type of guy, because I was learning through YouTube. So I never gave advice and stuff like that about how to do things on my channel. I was more like a critical voice, I guess. And the thing is that he asked me, since you improv, you seem to improv a lot in your style of GMing and playing, do you have any tips on how to do that? Do you have any like technique or tips or methodology and all that? And so it got me thinking, and the first thing that's important to say right now is that the best tip, the best technique is to find a game that does it, right? So this one, you've heard it before, now it's becoming this really redundant tip, but it's the most fundamental one. So the easiest way to improv in RPG for me as a GM is when you have a game that mechanically does it. So the goal of the game is to improvise, and there is many out there. I mean, it's not important to name them. You look around and you'll see them. So that's one thing. The other thing that's important to mention is what I mean by improv. What I mean by improv is no prep. That's it. When you have no prep, you have no choice. You gotta improv. So the first thing is find a game that does it, because by justifying your improvisation and your decisions on the fly through mechanic, it's easier to implement these ideas that comes from nowhere. So that's the first thing. Now getting that out of the way, my personal way of going by that. I'm a big proponent, and I discussed that in the past, I'm a big proponent of semantic fields. And to me, the semantic fields are key to good RPG sessions for the player and the GMs. So what I do is I immerse myself in the genre, in the aesthetic, by feeding off my semantic field according to the thematic of the game through graphic novels, movies, video games, literature, all that. So YouTube, does it very well. So music and music is good because it's an abstract representation, but words. You want words, you want images, and you want words. So what I do is I just immerse myself. So it's a lot of homework, and it's to warm up the brain, it's to warm up the cognition, to have the words already at hand. So by manipulating your semantic fields, you manage to have these words, these aesthetics, these images, these representations right there, ready to be implemented in the narrative. So basically that's huge for me. That's what I do. So when I come to the table as a GM or as a player, I'm warmed up. I'm already warmed up. It doesn't have to be really long. I usually take 45 minutes before the session to warm up the semantic fields, and then you get into play and these things gonna pop up. So canon and all that going through the content. So that's huge for me. I've been a proponent of that for a while now. Another thing that I do is confidence, right? So confidence, I mean, I would say I'm a pretty confident guy. I don't doubt myself that much in terms of my capabilities to do things. You know, I would say I mean not more than anybody, but yeah, I mean I'm pretty okay with who I am and how I do things. So that helps necessarily because it's that helps because it gives you the edge, because when you propose, when you're a GM, and you wanna incorporate a twist on a failure to a player, you know, sometimes the first thing that comes to your head is pretty harsh, or it's pretty drastic, or it's pretty intense, or something like that. So people don't necessarily will not necessarily agree and stuff like that. So there are, obviously when you play improv game, you have a strong social contract about, you know, accepting what's what's proposed right away, you know, and you get to understand the limits of the players and the limits of the thematic and the genre and all that. So you end up coming up with good stuff anyway. But so yeah, so that confidence, because the way you're gonna express it, the way you're gonna tell the players or the GM, this is what I do, this is what's happening right now, you know. And that's the reason why having a game that provides a mechanic to do so backs you up, kind of thing. So it helps. But yeah, man, confidence is key, just for the delivery of the ideas. So so yeah, that, and obviously you need, I mean, even if you don't prep, because that's the thing, right? Coming with zero prep, I mean, just the thing with the semantic field I talk about, that's some kind of a prep. So when you come to the session, you gotta know what's going on. You gotta have an idea of the story. So you need to kind of do homework about the game per se, the story per se, in the sense of I mean, even if you don't prep what's gonna happen, I mean, know the names of the people, know the protagonists, know the contact that the player have, know the relationships between the NPCs and the PCs and stuff like that. You have to know them. You have to know that they exist, and they have to be ready in your head to so you don't create them. You just know what has been created in the past sessions to bring them in the game when you need them, kind of thing. And so yeah, so that's my number one tips. Obviously, you have all the things about, like, find a group that does it, and everybody needs to be on the same page and all that. So social contract obviously is fundamental. But in terms of improvisation, I think people make it worse than it really is. It is not so bad. It's not so hard, and it's not. It's. I mean, personally, I never really, you know, encountered a situation where I had no idea whatsoever what to do. You know, it's when you listen. That's a big one. Just listen. Right? Listen to what's going on. Listen to what's going on around the table. When I mean listen, I don't mean just listen to the words that are being said. I mean listen to what's implicit in the intentions of the people you play with, either GM or player. Like, you gotta be like aware You know, awareness, it's one big thing Rob and I have been discussing for the longest time. You gotta be aware of what's going on, what they want in terms of expectations and in terms of narrative, like in story wise. So listening is huge as well, because the more you listen, the less you talk, because it's hard to do both at the same time, especially in a context like that. And also the more you listen, when you're gonna speak, people are gonna be more interested in listening to what you're saying, and they're gonna give more importance to it than if you speak all the time and it doesn't make sense anymore, or people don't care anymore, right? So that's how I would go about improv. That's the best advice I would give. All right, so thanks for the good question, Fawn Troden, and I see you around.